If you're wondering what kind of pregame show you're going to get today, Espo just compared himself to LeBron before he went live.
Steven compared me to LeBron.
No, he did not. We're going to get into it in 30 seconds. Happy Sunday night to all of you, and welcome into the PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you. At Gila River Resorts and Casinos, visit playatgila.com for more details. I'm Eric, that's Steven, LeBron James, my left-hand man checking in as always. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. We appreciate all of you doing you in the chat. Lucas, Juju, Devin, Chris, Sandman, Kev, hello, Alyssa, Cara. Woo!
Becomsy clearly?
Not yet. No, I haven't checked into the chat yet. But we appreciate all of you that have. We appreciate all of you who've also left a like already and have subscribed to PHNX Sports. If you're new around here, we will have a post-game show as the Phoenix Suns take on the Charlotte Hornets. But before we talk ball on the court, let's talk about rumors, specifically one that was addressed by our own Gerald Bourguet earlier today. He said, according to a source, the Suns do like Nick Richards, the backup center for the Charlotte Hornets, but despite the timing of Jusuf Nurkic's illness for tonight's game against the Hornets, no trade is imminent. No trade imminent, Espo, doesn't mean no trade happening.
No, but I also think that I'm sick, please send me home. Might be a ploy. I know they're saying he has the flu, and look, I can tell you, you got to take that seriously, but I don't take this seriously. I just don't. My medical degree tells me no. All right, it's a case of Richarditis.
At risk of going from somebody with a medical degree to somebody without, how real does Jusuf Nurkic's illness feel to you?
My opinion don't even matter at this point, does it? Honestly,
it matters to me. If it doesn't matter to anybody else, it does to me.
I think the timing is wild.
Yeah,
it's wild. I would just like to say that Mike Budenholzer is going through it this season. That man has a lot going on.
Can I give him credit though? Because I feel like even though you're kind of backed in the corner to making a change when you put Jusuf Nurkic and Bradley Beal on the bench, it did kind of set the tone where it's now I'm in charge, where we didn't have that moment last year, right? It felt like we all wanted a change and it never came in a lot of ways. This at least was that kind of delineation line where he's like, even if we're going to go down in flames, I'm at least going to do something so I look like I have my hands on the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, before we knew that Jusuf Nurkic was sick, and to be fair, the flu is going around, like he very well could just have the flu and it just is a really bad situational circumstance, but he wasn't playing either way. Right now, he's just not around the team. And of course, this coming at the same time that the Suns are playing the Hornets for the second time in a week. So the Nick Richards conversation comes up. The rumors have been out there. Gerald's talked about it. A lot of other reporting. Where do you guys stand on the whole Nick Richards, I don't want to say saga, but just rumors? Like, are you ready to press yes on that move if it's possible?
I've been ready since last year. Just do it. It's an affordable big man. Roll the dice. At this point, you've got nothing to lose. Literally, have you seen that center rotation? You've got nothing to lose. Like, go get him, see if it works. His salary's not guaranteed next year, but he's extension eligible if you do like him. Do anything. Right? That I've been on this pulpit for 2 weeks now. Make some kind of move other than benching guys. Bring somebody in, and I know it takes two to tango here, but I'm at a point, if you can get the Nick Richards deal done, whether it's for Jusuf Nurkic, whether it's for Josh Okogie, which he becomes trade eligible on the 15th, just make at least one move to start here.
Are you willing to part with Josh Okogie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh Okogie in 2 seconds?
Yeah. The 2 seconds part is where it gets tricky because if I remember correctly, they only have maybe 3 or 4 max.
Three.
So that's a lot of stock you're putting in a center that, even though I don't think he's a true backup center, has no experience as a starting center, especially in the contending status, and even more so on the playoff stage in and of itself. Like that's a big dice roll. But when you're in the situation that the Suns are in right now, you really don't have much of a choice. Beggars can't be choosers, and you certainly have no leverage as far as trying to steal talent from another team right now.
I got great news for you. They're not a playoff team right now, so Nick Richards will fit right in.
This is fair. This is
Right?
fair. This is fair.
And it wouldn't
But
even
the expectations for the team.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
well,
you are 100% right, though. 1,000% right.
and even beyond Josh Okogie, maybe it would just take J.O. straight up for Richards or J.O. in 1 second round. If we're talking Jusuf Nurkic for Nick Richards, you're clearing out the cabinet of second round picks.
Look, I don't care. You backed yourself into this corner. You're all in. At this point, the difference between having 1 second round pick and 3 isn't going to make the difference in anything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're saving that 2031 for whatever bigger kind of move you're trying to make. Trade the seconds. If you really feel like you need more seconds, explore the Tyus Jones move that we talked about, or look at what you can get for Grayson Allen at some point. But right now, the house is on fire, and sitting there saying it's fine doesn't get the job done. Go get a center. I don't care what 8th grader sitting out there that you're going to draft with that second round pick in 2030. Get me a guy that can help right now.
I'll say this part too. I think the Suns need to get younger at the center position. And imagining a center rotation with Nick Richards and also Iguodala, and watching them go up against the Derek Lively's, the Rudy Gobert's, et cetera, et cetera. Like, yes, there's still going to be a learning curve, but it feels better knowing that you have more plus athleticism compared to what you had that would have pre-existed it, and the versatility that you can start to dip into, and seeing how much you can extract out of them offensively as well. It's a promising thing compared to what we've been watching so far this season.
And you go from having, lots of minutes of center play with centers in Nurk and Plumlee that can't really get over the rim anymore.
That's my point.
To now Nick Richards and Oso Iguodala, to where we talk about how much of a difference it is for Oso. Some of his faults are purely size. Nick Richards does make up for that. But they can also still both get playing time. You're not going to step on Oso's development. We have a couple great comments in the chat. We appreciate all of you joining us. Make sure you hit that like button. Will with the chat says, hey, didn't know we did these pre-games. Is this normal? I usually listen later, download it on Spotify. Will this go there? So pre-game, yes. Every single game, there's a pre and a post-game show. And the pre-game show only goes up on YouTube. So we're live 30 minutes before every single game right here on PHNX Sports. If you hit that subscribe button, if you hit the notifications button, you'll know every time we go live. Does not go on to streaming platforms. This is just exclusively for our friends here on YouTube.
One thing with Nick Richards that I want to make clear, he does not fix everything at your center rotation. He is a guy that can finish at the rim, but he has his deficiencies too. Like, this is not trading for an all-everything center. This is a guy that hopefully can do some of the little things that you're not getting right now to make you better, because as we've learned, those little things start to add up. So that's just checking one of those things off the box, and I want to make that very clear, because I think a lot of people are getting extremely excited about the idea of Nick Richards. Nick Richards has his flaws too. There's a reason why he's, a backup with Charlotte, and that he is available right now.
And I'm definitely hoping people don't have too high of expectations. Like, I know there's a dire want for a breath of fresh air in the center room in particular, but you don't want to have your expectations be set sky high for someone that's not like a all-star, all-NBA caliber center. Like, he still has a lot to prove to even be a starting center, especially for a contending team. Again, the pressure is completely different.
You'd be gambling. right? But like you said, Espo, you're already in a situation where you need to gamble.
Yeah,
right?
Well, you've already gambled.
Yeah, you're already in debt. Now you got to hit big to get out.
I mean, you gotta take another swing, and then you gotta call that 1-800 number if this doesn't work, right? That's what this season is. You take those big swings over the next month, and then if this don't work this offseason, you call 1-800 next step, and then you're trying to rebuild everything, right?
And we'll get to our bets later. Maybe some of us also need to call the 1-800 number. But to your point, Steven, with the expectations on Nick Richards and Espo, you saying he's not going to fix everything, I feel like the excitement, just for me personally, around what Nick Richards would bring to this team is less about how individually great he is, but as far as how he can affect everybody else around him, because some of these problems that we've talked about with the Suns, it just feels like there is a simple solution. Not that the solution means they're going to be competing for a championship, but rim protection, rim running, like athleticism. We've seen just what youth does for guys like Kevin Durant when he sees Ryan Dunn and Osa Ighodaro and calls them like his brothers, right? You're adding somebody else to that list. And when you are in a situation now where your superstars have no faith in your center position, it's not about replacing them with an all-NBA all-star that's going to take you to the next level. It's about getting the floor up so that your stars can raise the ceiling even higher. Like that to me is what's so tantalizing, even though like on averages and playing time and what he's done in the league, Nick Richards is not somebody that I feel like we should be talking about this much.
Well, you're desperate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like your dating life in college. I mean, you were desperate, you wind up talking up anything that you get a chance with, right? No, but look, okay, let me say this. I spent from when I left here last night through today fixing my wife's car. She's got a hybrid vehicle, right? So where do you think the battery is in a car, right? In the front, right? In the hood?
You will hope.
It ain't. It ain't in a hybrid Toyota. It's in the back wheel well, right? So my point is, it's fixable, but it's a giant pain in the ass. And that's what this Phoenix Suns thing is. It's fixable, but it's going to take a lot more than it should take to fix a team that has the kind of star power that this one does. Nick Richards is locating the battery. Then you got to make another couple moves to actually get that thing juiced up and ready to go again. And that's where I'm at with this team. Make that trade, get a little bit better in the center room, have a little bit more trust. Then you got to figure out what's the other move that you got to make to really try to fix things.
Yeah, and that is why I've always said I feel like they're 2 moves away. It's hard to make 2 trades in one season, especially when you're cap strapped the way that the Suns are with the second tax apron and everything that comes with that. But that's a step in the right direction. I think the other one becomes the elephant in the room with Jimmy Butler and how you might be able to make that happen. For me personally, like there's still internal things that I will continue to say they need to get fixed and get right to get to where they desire to be in terms of ducking the play-in tournament and being a top 6 team. But you get those 2 pieces, theoretically Nick Richards and Jimmy Butler, that's a big step in the right direction to shift your context a little bit. And it gives you, maybe my most favorite thing about it, it gives you 2 more players to add to that blue-collar boys group. Obviously, Jimmy being one that punches a lot higher than most do, but Nick Richards would very much be that, and Jimmy would bring that, and that helps to insulate Devin Booker and Kevin Durant.
And it helps to create a culture and to stay competitive. And that identity will rub off if, let's say, Jimmy Butler does end up getting injured, which is a whole other can of worms to get into. The identity and the presence of him alone will mean that when he's out, like, people are still going to be approaching the game differently, which goes to what you're saying about solving the internal issues. But let's focus on the issue at hand. That is the Charlotte Hornets, a team that did beat the Phoenix Suns, handed them their most recent loss on the road in Charlotte tonight. It's in Footprint Center. Let's start with the injury report because we do have some good news for the Suns. Royce O'Neal is back. He is available after suffering a left ankle sprain weeks ago. Jusuf Nurkic, like we mentioned earlier, out with an illness. All 3 of the G League 2-way players are out for the Suns. Daquan Jeffries is questionable. Not sure if we have an update on him. Grant Williams out for the Hornets. Trey Mann also out for the Hornets. Espo, Royce is back, and he's needed.
Yeah, I mean, but it does pose another problem. What's your rotation look like now? Where are the minutes coming from for him. And how are you going to shuffle that? And now he brings an energy that you need. He brings a defensive mindset that's always helpful, as we know, and we've seen with Ryan Dunn and Josh Okogie getting minutes. This team needs that defensive edge. But yeah, it's how do you work him back in? And how's he going to find his rhythm? Because we know Royce is a streaky shooter. So how does he come in? Is he on? Does he get on a streak where he's hitting, or is he in one of those lulls coming off that ankle injury? It's all going to be interesting to watch play out over the next few games.
Yeah, I think obviously his value that he's bringing is going to start defensively, but they need their wing group to make shots as well. That's a big piece in making this group of wings work for them. And they rely on him to knock down a lot of the shots that they take from deep, especially because of how he's guarded, especially when he's on the court with two of the big three. So he's going to have to make those. I think it's not necessarily the most fair to expect for him to come in and knock down shots consistently after being out for a week and a half, but that's the situation they're in.
The starting five tonight is the same. Tyus Jones, Devin Booker, Ryan Dunn, Kevin Durant, Mason Plumlee. I'm not as much worried about the Ryan Dunn minutes. I'm more looking at Grayson Allen, because Grayson Allen has come on as of late. This is probably his best stretch, probably his best week of the season, because he's actually started to hit these deep threes. And while he hasn't been perfect, last game, a lot of shots going in and out, he's been a lot better and a lot more aggressive as well, starting to feel more like the Grayson Allen of old. So I am interested to see what Bud does there, but maybe he'll lean a little bit more small ball, right? Because you don't have Jusuf Nurkic. Maybe Royce is going to be playing the four with Grayson out there and with Beal coming off the bench. So it's fun because it does give you another weapon. The thing that could be a problem with the wing rotation could also be a blessing, and say, hey, we now have like multiple different types of threats that we can throw out there. If, you need a little more defensive grit than Grayson Allen or more shooting than Ryan Dunn.
Yeah, but you're not taking those minutes away from Grayson now that he's found it. You go back and look, November was the rough month. December, he was shooting right around that 40 mark. Now I think he's at like in the high 50s in terms of 3-point shooting in January. And I know we're early in the month
he's
still, but you can't take those minutes away from him. I don't like relying too much on the small ball, because I don't know that you were built with that in mind. So now you're trying to try to make it a strength when it may not be, just to counteract what's going on with another team. I don't know, man. I'm glad I'm not Mike Bruno.
I think the roster was built with small ball as a piece to the big picture that they're putting together, but a piece.
Yeah, not a large point.
Not
of 50%.
Yeah, exactly. Which points back to the center conversation that we just got done having. But I think naturally you see less minutes with Josh Okogie. Like, Grayson's not losing minutes, especially because he's been their best shooter the last 4 or 5 games now. It's unfortunate. Josh has been playing very well, but Royce is just simply better. And there's no one else that's going to lose minutes that's in the rotation right now. So
Ted brings up Tyus Jones. His fewer Tyus minutes, his defense has been bad.
That's a point guard, though.
Right, but what are you saying?
You're not going to give minutes for a forward that plays more of the 4 than he does the 3 and the 5.
Unless you drop Tyus out and you have Book playing more point. You put Grayson at the 2. But
we've seen Bud do some of these weird, like, all-out defense lineups where he throws out a bunch of wings, or now like a 4-guard lineup. I don't think it would be crazy to think you're going to see one of Beal or Book on there with Royce, Grayson, and Dunn out there. Like, that still feels like a pretty formidable lineup, especially with how Book has been playmaking as of late. With Beal, I don't love it as much, but it still is a dangerous dynamic depending on, even KD could be playing center, or Plumlee, or Oso. I wouldn't be shocked, because we've seen Bud, if Tyus becomes a defensive liability tonight against a team that has some size at the guard position in LaMelo Ball, we've seen Tyus, be iced out for the end of the game. And maybe they'll lean more into more forwards, more switchable with Book or Beal running the 1, and this isn't a Tyus game. I'm curious, because I think that's on the table. I don't know if they go to it, but I definitely think that that's an option that Mike Budenholzer could go to.
It could be, but I still just don't feel like you take away your point guard because less Tyus means more turnovers. There's no way around it.
I think if you see less Tyus minutes, you see more Monte minutes.
I
don't think you're gonna ice it out completely, but I don't know, man. I do not envy Coach Mike Budenholzer to try to figure out, this very bizarre, depth chart right now.
But that's what he signed up for, though.
Yeah,
this is true.
So,
I mean, we're talking about having multiple players that can contribute. Like, there are worse problems to have than that. You could be talking about the center position where we feel like we desperately need to add somebody. In this case, there are actually options, and they'll look good playing tonight. Let's take a look at the jerseys for the Hornets Suns Part 2. It's the Valley jerseys. Oh, they are so sexy, and I love these white Charlotte jerseys. They're usually worn at home. Tonight they're going to be away. Espo, I feel like this might be one of the best jersey matchups in the entire association.
You stole my jersey bits. You can have it. No, I'm just kidding.
Set you up, bro.
I agree with you. I think that it is definitely a solid matchup tonight. I love those Hornets uniforms. They're clean, and then we've talked about those Valley ones a lot. So
let's take a look at what we are picking tonight as far as score predictions go. Will the Suns make it 3 in a row? We're all saying yes, but by different margins. I'm Suns by 6. Gerald's Suns by 1. Espo, you're feeling confident.
I'm just, you know what? Let's just lean into it. All right. Give me a 3-game win streak. I've had a negative vibe about me with all this. So I'm going to try to bring the positivity. I'm going to try to change that locker room. I'm going to do my part. I'm saying Suns by 10. Let's get it going.
Steven, Suns by 4.
Yeah, I think this game will be a little bit closer than they're anticipating. LaMelo Ball is a bucket getter, and he runs a lot of his plays in the context that the Suns have struggled to defend, which is pick and roll. And he can make every pass. He's an efficient shooter from deep, and he can score at all 3 levels past just the 3-point line as well. And another big thing, they had some issues guarding Miles Bridges last time out. I guess he's not as loud of a name because of LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, but Miles Bridges can fill it up. And he's a player that if you leave him open, he's going to make things a problem for you defensively. So I just don't think it's going to be as much of a double-digit win as it would be a game that ends up entering the clutch.
Yeah, I mean, Miller's an interesting one, too. He feels like the guy that, could be the big 3-point shooter tonight. Yep. He's got a big streak going of at least 2 or more 3-pointers in a game, and I just feel like that's the guy that could break it wide open if the Hornets have the kind of offensive output they did last time.
Lots of predictions coming in chat. Metal Mike, Suns by 8. Zeke, Suns by 17. Kara, Suns by 15. Strikeout, Suns by 15. Mac, Suns by 3. Appreciate all of you dropping a comment. Let's see what our friends over at Bet365 have the line for tonight. And I can actually say tonight instead of this afternoon. It's the Suns -7, -280 on the money line. Hornets +230 on the money line +7 on the spread. Now it's time for our pregame picks presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHNX365 when you sign up and find out why, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus and physically located in AZ. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT-STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Real quick, let's look at the standings before we get into our bets. It's been a while since we checked in on those. Steven, you're slowly going down, but still in the lead. Positive 84.92. I'm in second at negative 53.50. Espo, not looking great, pal.
Oh, come on. That -195 is nothing in this game, all right?
Well, so, what are you doing to get out of it tonight?
Look, I've got the I'm going back to an oldie but a goodie. I told you I wanna bring back the positive vibes. Your boy Ryan Dunn gonna get the first basket tonight. Nice little slice to the basket. He's gonna get a layup or a dunk, and I'm going to win my bet.
Steven, what are you going with?
Kept it a little bit more simple today.
Oh, my God.
KD for 37.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Devin Booker for 32.5 points and assists combined. Nick Richards had a big game last time out. I have him for 13.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined. Just got done talking about LaMelo Ball, 33.5 points and assists combined. Brandon Miller knocking down 3.5 or more threes. Obviously, Espo just got done speaking about that. Him and LaMelo fight over who's going to take more threes on average per game. So, needless to say, they're both going to be letting it fly. And then the last one, Grayson Allen, been on the hot streak the last 4 games. Did a thread on him prior to yesterday's game. it's kind of looking at how he's been getting his 3-point attempts. I think he knocks down more than 2.5 in this one.
Funny enough, you talk about LaMelo and Brandon Miller fighting for shots. LaMelo Ball is attempting the most shots per minute since Wilt Chamberlain.
And that should not be much of a surprise.
No, not at all.
At all.
So many jokes.
So I went with the LaMelo Ball of bets. I went all out tonight. If I win this bet, I win $1,100 off of a $10 bet. Nick Richards, 13.5 PRA over. Book, 36.5 PRA over. Durant, 36.5 PRA over. LaMelo over 1.5 stocks. Sneaky good at that. LaMelo also over 2.5 turnovers. Mark Williams to get a block. Both teams to score 100-plus points. And LaMelo Ball to get a double-double. Plus 11,000.
You guys overthink this stuff so much.
How's mine overthinking?
Well, I mean,
You've done similar to
because you guys just stack a lot, right? Like, all this is dumb luck, right?
You know what?
Like,
I
let me
just
make
hear
it very
last
clear.
place
You'll
talking.
appreciate.
That's all
I still got the belt.
You'll appreciate.
And you're last.
Yeah,
You'll
who
appreciate high
cares?
volume shooters at one point or another. Kobe Bryant was a high volume shooter.
that's-
Michael Jordan was a high volume shooter.
I feel like we're more like J.R. Smith, Jordan Clarkson.
You better speak for yourself.
With betting, if we were
that's
Jordan
fair.
and Kobe, those numbers would
You
be
know
a lot
what?
higher.
You've hit on multiple occasions, so
I
I
have.
will give you
I
that.
think 3 times.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, who cares about me?
I have.
Oh,
Megan can talk all she wants. I was down like that last year and I won. All right.
I wasn't here
Bradley
last year.
Beal, first
Tell me that.
basket 3-pointer isn't here to save you, pal.
Oh, he'll be soon. I will be in the lead, and you'll be talking it. You're gonna be in third, and Steven and I are gonna battle this out.
Hey,
But,
I've
you know,
climbed out of the mud this season. I've proven it more recently. I was
Yeah.
down there. I was lower
Hey,
than you
look,
were right now.
See, exactly.
But
my
I
point.
climbed back because I swung
Yeah,
big.
once.
Ryan
all right?
Dunn first basket ain't gonna cut it.
By the way, can we stop? I want to take this. I've been thinking about it. You know, I don't think we take this whole pregame very seriously.
Sure, okay.
I think we need to have one of the traditional things that you see in a pregame show. So I'm bringing my keys to the game. Noah, can you hit him with my key to the game? Don't suck. That's it. That's all the Suns need to do tonight is not suck, and they should win. All right.
Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up here on the PHNX Suns pregame show. Remember, we are live before every single game, 30 minutes before, right here on PHNX Sports. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notifications button. And you check back in with us, win or loss, right here for our post-game extravaganza. We have a special surprise that Espo has for you in post-game. And
Only
you
if
want
they
to
win.
be here. Yeah, only if they win. But you want to be here if that happens. Win or loss, we commiserate together. We celebrate together, all right here on PHNX Suns. Follow the show at PHNX_Suns. You can follow myself at Eric Ruby. You can follow Espo at Espo. You can follow Steven at StevenPG3. We'll see y'all for postgame.
We all silly like the mayor.